Let me go across to Rajinder Amarnath is joining us, former cricketer. Vedam Jaishankar, a sports enthusiast and a journalist, is also joining us. Rajinder Amarnath, I'm going to come to you first. Is it a yay or a nay for you when it comes to these 10 commandments? Do you think it's much needed to discipline the team, or do you think it's a bit too much?
It was bound to happen sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems more to me that it's like passing a buck. Selector doesn't want to take the responsibility of the team he has chosen. The coach doesn't want to take the responsibility of the team given to him, and he could not perform well. And the captain also has passed the buck because the team given to him probably was not to his liking. He missed out the first test match. By the time he came, he was not in proper shape and in form. So he also passed the buck. He stayed out of the team in the last test match, but that did not help because of the Indian team. Yes, this was to happen because a long rope had been given to the superstars. They had not been playing the domestic cricket for a very long time. Whenever they had the opportunity, they would go out for the commercial shoot, or they had their family commitments. And subsequently, when the players were asked to take a break and get ready for the international matches, they rather opted for the IPL because the golden goose mattered to them more than representing the country. And also the recent defeats against New Zealand and against Australia, that was the final nail in the coffin.
Right.
But yes, it had to come, and they had to streamline certain things. You cannot send a team overseas and every player is moving in his own sweet direction because he doesn't want to be with the team after the match. No, the team is going to lose that focus if you're not together. Even things like that, some of the players were opting not to do practice before the test match or the one days,
right,
because they didn't feel like. It doesn't work out that way. I have been coach, I have been a cricketer, I have been the selector. I know how it functions.
Right.
And it had to come sooner than later.
But there were stricter laws earlier as well, isn't it? Rajinder Amarnath, there were stricter laws. Why were they relaxed? What happened? Is it just due to the stardom?
I'll tell you. The reason they had to give in to the superstars is because there is no strong body controlling the BCCI now. I don't think so they would have been able to do this if there was no IPL. Because they know if they don't play for the country, there's enough cricket for them to play in the IPL. And also they do not give much importance to the domestic cricket because they are an automatic choice in the Indian team. I remember many years back, the similar superstars of West Indies also were sailing through the same boat. They were not playing the domestic cricket in West Indies till the West Indies board put their foot down and says, anybody who doesn't play the domestic cricket will not be picked for the West Indies team. And one superstar took that directive very lightly, landed up before the test series in West Indies, and he got the biggest shock of his life. He was not picked for the first test match. Then everybody realized that you cannot be bigger than the game. You have to follow the directives of the BCCI, that's the controlling body in India. And also you must owe yourself to your state. The platform which you got while you played for the state, that was a platform to come and play for the country.
Domestic cricket.
Suddenly you abandoned your state and you not bothered turning up for your state teams, which is rather sad. And I was quite dismayed by this kind of attitude by the superstars.
That's very interesting. Vedam, would you like to weigh in? Because some of them, and remember, we've all seen these visuals of Sachin Tendulkar with his bag, Rahul Dravid with his bag, boarding the team bus and the fanfare around it. But apparently there are cricketers who don't travel with the team. In fact, one of them specifically say that we discourage separate travel arrangements, which some of the cricketers apparently have been making. How does that affect the team spirit?
Yeah, I guess it would. But what has happened of late is you have a logistics company and you give them a contract and they put your kit all over the place. You know, they say the kit is very heavy. So whether it's men's cricket or women's cricket or boys cricket, the logistics takes care and moves it from place to place. You just have some personal items which you carry along with you. But you're absolutely right. But what happens is we need to look at this in two ways. I'm all for domestic cricket. But I'm for domestic cricket for a different reason. if you're going to get some good young bowlers or batsmen, we'd like to see what their performance is worth it if they're playing against the real stars, if they're playing against the top of the Indian cricketers, And if they do well, then you have a gem. You really have a gem as far as a bowler or a batsman is concerned.
Absolutely.
But today that is not happening. If these guys are not playing the domestic cricket, we don't know the worth of the runs or the worth of the wickets being taken. We have seen for some time now that the highest number of runs are actually coming from Northeast. Whom are they playing? We don't even know whom they're playing against. And there's no value for those kind of runs. So I think I agree with Rajendra Amarnath, but I also want the board to tighten up its domestic cricket and make it more worthwhile. If somebody like Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma or Jaiswal are going to play against Manipur or Tripura or somebody like that, even if they make 10,000 runs, it makes no sense. You really have to play Bombay versus Delhi versus Karnataka versus Chennai. Those are the kind of matches that we like to see.
Absolutely. And those are the matches which used to be the quality that we used to have at one time when it came to domestic cricket, which has completely declined. But Rajendra Amarnath, if you can also come in when it comes to the other things which are coming, and it's quite interesting when people like us sitting on the outside, we see, there were stylists also who were going along with them, who are also special hairdressers who were going along with them. Is that something which has become a norm now? Why did the BCCI need to come out and said your personal staff is not coming in? Who are these personal staff that they are talking about? If you can just throw some light on that.
I remember my father made a very funny remark. God bless his soul, he is not with us. I'm talking about way back in the 1980. When the concept of one-day cricket and then the color clothing came in. And he called me and said, he used to call me Johnny as a pet name. He said, Johnny, come here. I just want to show you something. He said, what are these guys playing in this colored clothes? I can never think of cricket being played in colored clothes. He says, time will come when they will have a break on the ground. Somebody will carry a comb and a mirror for them to make their hair on the ground. Are we
reaching that state yet? Johnny, if I may call you that.
I think this coming to that, carrying, because once you have the ladies accompanying the players, anything is possible. The hairstylist is going to be there.
I'll disagree with you on that one, but not with the ladies there. But then, men too have been known to be rather vain, isn't it?
They become very conscious of their
performance. I wouldn't say it performance. It's actually the looks over performance.
I think they're concentrating more on their looks as such. And I remember when a thing called the cream, the sun cream started coming. The Indians were not used to putting the sunscreen because it was mostly applied by the English or the Australians because the skin is so tender in the sun that it would get burnt. And I remember Mohinder telling me this incident. The first time I applied the skin cream in Australia because it was very hot in Perth. He said, I looked myself at the mirror. I looked like one of those that South African warriors I didn't have a spear in my hand. I just had a bat in my hand and started laughing. I said, how can you play cricket with applying all those creams on your face? But everybody's applying this because they want to look beautiful like the opposite sex.
Oh, well, that's very interesting. Vedam, you wanted to come in on that. Are looks or the pressure to look good on screen, on field, hurting the performance?
You might already know it. But if you don't know it, let me tell you that both WPL, IPL and a whole lot of other cricket, they go to the parlor before the match, before the start of the match. Many of the cricketers.
I thought they were warming up before the match.
Sorry?
I thought they were warming up.
No, there's a lot of grooming being done. They go to a hairstylist. They look. Actually, when you look, you'll see next time. There's no hair out of place. Earlier, we used to see hair out of place, sweating, things like that. That doesn't happen.
Okay.
It's not by chance. There is a lot of grooming taking place, and this is being created by PR agencies and agents and sponsors and a whole lot of other things who want them not only to perform well, but also look good. The game has so much that a grooming, even for a cricketer, and I don't want to mention name, but there are guys who go through nose job and chin job and whole lot of other things, to play the game.
Vedam, I'm going to call you after the show and you must give me the names. If not on air, then off air at least. But I'm running out of time, gentlemen.
Vedam knows a lot of things which are happening in the dressing room or before the match and after the match. I'm going to speak to him also. Get some tips. How beautiful.
Vedam, well, you have a lot to spill, isn't it? Rajinder Amarnath, quick final words from you. These 10 commandments, if it's followed to the T, can we win the Champions Trophy?
Well, I can't guarantee about winning, but if they are adhered to this 10 commandments, I think a lot good will come. Because you'll be more focused, there'll be cohesiveness in the team, you'll be moving as one unit, and also you'll be performing.
Team spirit.
I've heard on the tour that the players have been moving in different directions. There was some sort of friction in the team.
Yes.
I think everything can be sorted out once you sit together.
So it'll build team spirit. Vedam, quickly, what do you think? Yay or nay? 10 commandments, will it work?
10 commandments could work, but if it comes right down from the board, because you need to sort out the domestic cricket, you need to sort out your selection. You can't get a guideline.
It's not just putting out a guideline, but it needs to be enforced. And it takes a holistic nature as well.
Enforced from the top. It's not just the team. There is also the selectors.
Yes.
They have to be answerable for what they are doing.
Accountability is also something. I agree with you. Accountability also. It's not just the players, it's the entire team. Unfortunately, gentlemen, I could have this conversation for a very long time, but we have time restrictions. Thank you so much, Rajinder Amarnath, as well as Vedam Jaishankar, for joining us. With that, a short break.